Greetings. So today we're actually going to go through some of these credits of the tour since we're seeing so many visual discrepancies. We want to actually just make sure that we're not coming up with assumptions or assuming. We actually want to see some of the people that are behind the scenes since I, of course, randomly have went into a circle. Not randomly, but how I normally go through my information is if it's true, it's going to end up coming back anyway. You don't have to force yourself to know something. If it's meant to be seen, 9 out of 10 is going to be seen at the right time. You can't just force yourself to have information. But maybe like a week or two ago, I actually went through the credit list just to make sure that I was seeing everybody's name, even if I didn't see their face. I was just making sure that, okay, if I knew their name, we know for a fact that they're around this tour or they're around this concert on the behalf of Beyonce and Beyonce's family. It ain't for anybody but Beyonce and Beyonce's family. Beyond media, beyond the facade, beyond the entertainment, America, or just beyond entertainment. This is about somebody's livelihoods. So I was like, okay, let me just quote unquote do my remote viewing thing. Know the names early. If they pop up, they pop up. If they're guilty, they're guilty. If they're not, they're not. But with that being said, I definitely wanted to know some of these managers and people who are close to even the dancers, just the tour people, especially since some of the media already looked faked. This is a green screen. And even though I went through some of the people who styled it and some of the people who put their names on it, you got to understand how media works. And I'm not even going to go into the concept of the Renaissance album as for one, I'm not going to give my opinion necessarily, but at the same time, we just know that her media, or at least her tour media, became subjected to more so robotics versus a alien superstar or a fashion event. It wasn't even a fashion event. It wasn't a church girl event. It wasn't a Renaissance event. It was more so like cyber light show LGBT event. That's just my visual opinion though. But with that being said as well, I had to also pay attention to the visual media because the visual media all in all is supposed to tell a story. But when I started seeing glitches of green screenish things that went against the Renaissance album meaning, I knew for a fact that I needed to stay on top of this development of this story. But interesting, I'm about to show you guys something. Supposedly, this outfit right here, this mechanics right here, it's only for her visual book. It's not necessarily for anything that she has had on tour, right? No, this stuff wasn't necessarily on tour. It was just for the visual book. But when I was going through the credits and actually reading people's thoughts and their excitement and of how they conveyed it to their audience or whatever, it was more so for Beyonce, but it was through other people. So it was like, I'm excited to work for these people with the Renaissance tour. They didn't make it seem like it was a Beyonce thing or anything like that. It was for Beyonce's tour with these people. But yet at the same time, you can also go back on your own to verify once you actually see the credits. The thing about me doing these videos or whatnot on this development of this story is that I don't need to give my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter as compared to the fact of the matter is. Because again, when you go back in a circle and you get brought back to the same things that you knew you were already seeing or expected to see, that's when you know you're in the right direction. When you try to force information, that's when you end up going in a direction that you didn't need to go into. to begin with. So it was just cool seeing these animatronics, or more so all the effort that went into a tour book. But yet at the same time, check this out. They said this was for the tour book, but yet they built a whole outfit for a tour book. But this wasn't even an outfit. It was already a machine by the time um, it was supposed to be put on. So how would this woman be able to put this suit on? It's not possible. That's number one. It wouldn't be possible unless it was something fake. But yet at the same time, you can go back and see that for yourself. It has arms on it and everything. This is not something for somebody to put on. This is more so a inflatable to become something when they can digitalize it or whatever. Anyways, of course, they gave credits on those pictures and things like that that we just showed of the suit and whatnot, the styling, etc. People came up, the tour management. They wanted to be so hype about the being a tour manager or somebody running the show. But when you have all of these errors, you have to go back and check things. And as I started seeing the errors, that made me wonder who the fuck did this show. Because it, if you even go back to Beyonce's media from years ago, and although many of these people have been around Beyonce, don't get me wrong, her media has just been dumbed down by something. It goes to a point where these people weren't even just having fun. These people were slacking. And you just got to look at it and, it just speaks for itself. But yet at the same time, you just see some staged presences. But yet, look at this guy. We found the tour manager. Tour manager. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, I went through all these credits. I looked at everybody's face. Blah, 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 blah. With that being said, this is the tour manager here. This is somebody who's been worked with Beyonce. Good for him. This is the tour manager's boyfriend. He's been working around Beyonce as well, as people use their Instagram as a portfolio, so on and so on. They have been around Beyonce's horses. They've been around. Good for them. So it's not that there's an issue here with these men or anything like that. The issue comes into play when they digitized the show, or they made a show that wasn't even about them. This show wasn't about them. Even though it became a very LGBT friendly affair, it wasn't about them, period. It wasn't about these guys. And that's one reason why corporations don't even hire people that are in love together for something so big. That's one reason why that's one reason why I knew something was wrong, because I'm like, how is it that so many people are at this event that are coupled? But let me get my opinion out of it. But with that being said, I wanted to show y'all some of the faces that were claimed from some of these theatrics of the show. Again, I'm going to have to say it again. It's one thing when you work with your significant other, but it's another thing when things just start to get sloppy. You see how my media went into a circle also? My media went back into a circle, meaning I found the stylist, or I found the people who were making the suits or the outfits by randomly going through their tags or whatever, just the designers, stylists or whatever. And then I just started to see all the corporation loopholes, or just the people who should not be sitting in those head seats together as if they are doing something beautiful for someone that is actually living.